everyone, thank you for joining me in today's video, and today's topic is going to be vocational rehabilitation. So what is that? That is a service that's here in the United States. I don't know if they have them in European countries or maybe in Canada. I don't know if it's maybe something similar under a different name, but here in the States we call it vocational rehab. And what it is it's a government program to help people with disabilities get jobs. So it can be any kind of disability. It can be a physical or mental disability, so you're not limited to just mental disabilities. But yeah, that's what it is. So anyone can apply to work with vocational rehab, and what it's like is I set up an appointment. I just Googled vocational rehab of my state. Each state has their own, and I found the contact information. I just called them up and I set up an appointment, and that was my intake evaluation. So what they did was they gave me a psych evaluation basically to confirm that I did indeed have a disability. And after I did that interview, it was a 30-day wait period. I guess that's just how long it takes them to confirm your disability. Well, I don't know why it would take them that long, but that's how long it takes, about 30 days. So I think I first applied to them in October of last year, and I got approved, I guess, in November. So when November rolled around, I got a letter in the mail saying that I was approved, and they set up an appointment time for my next meeting, and that's when I met with my vocational rehab counselor. Now, this isn't the person that I actually worked with. This is I'm about to tell you. So the vocational rehab counselor, when I got there, our meeting actually lasted pretty long because we're talking about school tuition reimbursement, because they do that very infrequently though compared to job placement. And the school that I was going to go to is an online university and wasn't actually part of their tuition reimbursement program. It wasn't on their list. So it took a while to sort that all out, and we determined that we were just going to go helping me find a job route instead of the school tuition reimbursement route. So that's what we did, and my counselor gave me a few options. Now, I don't fully quite understand this, and this is where it becomes fully very personalized to each individual. So from here on out, what I'm going to tell you, my story is very personalized. I don't know if it's going to be the same for every person. It may be completely different, but this was just my experience. So she told me that I had a few different options. There was a community center involvement that I guess I can go to, and it would be kind of like a day program, I guess. I don't really know, where you would get adjusted into the community and stuff like that. And then there was an individual, a guy who I ended up working with. His name is Bobby Ray, and he works for a nonprofit organization himself, and he works with people one-on-one to help them with job placement. So I determined that I didn't really need the day program, the community program. I didn't feel like that was really necessary. I feel like a program like that would maybe be for someone who's more disabled, I guess, than I would consider myself. So I felt like I was well adjusted enough where I could just work one-on-one with a job developer. So that's what his title was, a job developer. And what vocational rehab does is I guess they outsource different organizations to work with them. So this person, Bobby Ray, that I'm working with, isn't actually affiliated with Vocational Rehab. Like, he has his own organization. They're called like Preferred Family, and that's what he's all about. So anyways, after that meeting, after I determined that I was going to work with Bobby Ray, we had a that was the end of that meeting, and then I had my first meeting with Bobby Ray. And with him, so I guess this was maybe in like, maybe this was like in December at this point, I don't totally know. But I had my meeting with him, and he basically just asked me like, what kind of job am I looking for, and basically that. What kind of job am I looking for? And I told him what I was looking for, which was like administrative assistant type work, or at the time it was just administrative assistant type work, or like receptionist type work. That was the only thing I really had an idea of what I wanted to do. So he was like, okay, he took that. And one thing is, a lot of vocational rehab clients, they are looking for entry-level jobs, like a lot of the time. So I would be looking for an entry-level job in like receptionist work because I've never done it before, like just regular office work. But as far as, I mean, like entry jobs, like working as a dishwasher at a restaurant, so like things like that. So this was a little bit different for Bobby Ray because he's used to finding people jobs like that. So this was a little bit different for him, and it rose some challenges along the way. But so like I had my first meeting where I told him what I wanted, and we kind of like mapped out a plan. And the second meeting that we have, we meet weekly, but I think we missed like 4 appointments throughout the whole time that I saw him. So we met like 3 times a month maybe, factoring in, because like over the holidays we missed like 2 weeks in a row. And then we had like, I don't know, like so he was sick one week, and we missed a week. So we missed some weeks. But anyway, so then after that first initial meeting and the second meeting, we came up with like a job development plan, and basically said what you are going to do, or what we're going to do to get you a job. And the way it worked was, he has a circle, like a network of contacts that he knows, so he was going to go on his end and try and get some contacts, some people that can maybe provide me employment. And then he also said for me to send him jobs as well. So now how this worked is, he did the applying for me. Like, he would go onto the website and actually apply for me. And he rewrote my resume too. Like, he didn't rewrite everything, like as far as like the job duties, like your bullet points that you have for what you did specifically in your job. He didn't change those were the same, but he added like a summary and some different stuff. He like modified it to each job. So he did that, and I sent him some jobs, and I guess he applied to them for me, but never heard anything back. So a few weeks went by, and I sent him some jobs that were actually mental health related jobs, like psychology related jobs. So, and they were at a local hospital, like being a mental health tech in the hospital ward. So I sent him those, and he applied for those, but I don't think that I had the experience for them, so I didn't get those jobs. They never came through. But so at this point, I've been working with him for like a month, maybe a month and a half, like trying to find jobs. Like he found one job for me, but it paid like practically minimum wage. and it was a far drive, like it was a half-hour drive. So I was like, well, I don't really, and it was part-time, I think, and I was looking or shooting for full-time. And I was like, well, I don't really think that I want that because, the pay isn't very good, especially for the drive, putting that much gas money into it. And just, I don't think that it's really something that I want. So he was like, okay, well, I just had a guy call me about this job and it came up, so I thought that you maybe be a candidate for it. I was like, well, thank you, but let's try something else. Let's try one of these jobs that I really do want. So, at this point, after we have met for multiple weeks in a row and not having any, like, prospects of a job, no luck, I told him, well, you know what about instead of doing administrative jobs, what if we just shoot for psychology related jobs? And he was like, well, what about I work for this nonprofit organization and I worked for them for a few years and I know that they're always hiring people, so how about I apply to them for you? So I was like, okay. And it turns out that that is actually the job that I got. So it was a long process, so it took like a month for me to finally get hired there. But so while he applied to them, he applied to some other jobs too. I found this really cool law office admin assistant job that was like 5 minutes from my house. It had awesome hours, it had awesome pay, and I was really excited about it. It was on Craigslist though, so if you're familiar with applying for jobs on Craigslist, you have to send them an email with your resume and like I guess a little cover letter in the body of the email. And so I sent him that Craigslist job, and I was like, "Here, can you apply to this one for me because this seems like a really ideal job." So he sent an email to that law office, and completely blew my chance at ever getting an interview with them. His email to them had typos in it. It was overly enthusiastic. It like didn't make grammatical sense, and it was just awful. It was atrocious. It was the worst professional email that I have ever seen in my life. Like, I think that a high schooler could have wrote a better email than that. So that was a negative experience that I had. So I was like, wow. Like, I actually confronted him. I was like, there are some problems in this email. Like, you have a typo in the first sentence, and I really wanted this job, and you completely blew it for me. So he was just like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, whatever. But, so anyways, that opportunity fell out the window. But the opportunity that I ended up getting at the nonprofit actually came through, and I went to the interview, and the interview went well, and after I interviewed, I had like an interview with HR first, so they were like, well, we're gonna call you, a hiring manager will call you back if they're interested after I pass on your information to them. And what Bobby Ray did was he knew the hiring managers at this nonprofit, and he emailed all of them and wrote a nice email saying that I would be a really ideal candidate for them and that they should give me an interview. Like, so he pretty much gave me that little push that I needed. Because who knows, I might have never heard back from this organization again if it wasn't for his email to the managers. So that was really helpful. But so yeah, I did hear back from them, and yeah, I ended up getting the job. So, yeah, that is my experience with vocational rehab. I guess it was a January, February, it took me maybe like 2.5 months to get a job, um, from working with them. And I mean, that's kind of a long time. So if you need a job, like, immediately, I don't know. And then again, this is like my personal case, so this could be totally different for someone else. But for me, it wasn't really a way to get a job immediately. It was more like to get a job within a few months. So, but they do keep your case open for 90 days after you start working at the job that they got you. So they don't just totally drop you at that point. They keep your case open in case there's any troubles. They can talk to your manager, like if you're having a certain difficulty or a problem, then they will talk to your manager and hopefully sort it out. So that's what I was told. And yeah, so vocational rehab in a nutshell, or my experience with vocational rehab anyway. So thank you guys for watching this video, and if you have a vocational rehab in your area, which you should because everywhere in the US has one, so I would recommend maybe checking them out to help you get a job. It's really kind of worth it because they help you with writing your resume and applying to jobs, having contact with the managers to give you that additional push that you wouldn't really be able to get on your own. So it's pretty cool. So thank you guys for watching again, and please subscribe to me if you have not already. And I apologize, this was such a long video. I hope it turned out okay. But anyway, see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.